Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Spawn movie Deluxe Malebolgia figure. So before we take a look at Malebolgia, let's take a look at the only accessory that he comes with, his staff. So I have to have just a little bit of a bigger setup here so that I can review him, but I've been wanting to review him for some time, so I put some stuff together and made a new setup here. So his staff looks really nice. It's supposed to be, I guess, bone. And it has some nice texturing as well as some nice sculpting and paint to it. Then it has this crystal ball at the top of it. Or if you have it in the light, it kind of looks like it's lighting up if you hold it up to the light there. And if I have my hands behind it with the light on, my camera on, it does look like it's glowing. So he really can't hold this the best because his hand really isn't made to hold it. But I did find a way here to get him to hold it. Let's see here. Kind of got it angled in like this. There. So I kind of just have him holding it like that. It's not the best, but you know, it'll do. And before I start this review too, he also has this talking feature. You just press one of the spikes on his spine, and then you hear this. I thought that was pretty cool. Usually these 90 figures were super gimmicky, and the voices really didn't sound the best. But I don't know. I think he sounds really good. So now let's take a look at the head sculpt. So the head sculpt looks really nice. It's sculpted really nicely. Or, I already said that. It has real hair, which this toy is from, I think, 1997. So the hair is really brittle and stiff. It doesn't look too bad like that, but it would be a little better if it was a little manageable, but you know, that comes with time, so that really doesn't bother me. And his teeth are sculpted pretty nicely. I think his skin just has some nice sculpt to it, and the paint detail really brings that out too, because his skin is supposed to be like really leathery and like dry looking, and the sculpt captures that perfectly. I don't think if it didn't have paint on it that it would look as good, but the paint definitely helps it. Like on his face right there, you can see in between all those wrinkles. That wouldn't have looked as nice if there was no paint detail to it. But yeah, it's got some nice sculpting to it, especially right here on his hands. And the dark brown that's painted in, I actually think it's just a wash, like they did a wash over it. That way it would get in between like all the wrinkles and the muscles and stuff. Like you can see his veins sticking out on his legs and on his arms. And he has these wings right here that are like cracking. They have holes in them. They're tearing apart. And again, really nicely painted. I like how the veins are sticking out in it, making it look like they are tearing apart. And as you can see, it's really glossy right there because that's a separate piece. I'm surprised it didn't break off before now, because this is a very fragile figure. I have read a lot of reviews about it, and usually the arms break. The arms, the hands, and the head. So this is a very fragile figure. If you do get it, definitely be careful and, you know, don't break it. But I've read the reviews, so I kind of knew what I was getting into beforehand. And his spines look, or his yeah, this is his spine. The spikes on his spine looks really nice. Again, they're painted really good. And if you do get this, another thing is the batteries will definitely be corroded. I had to clean this figure up. It was pretty nasty. It had lots of battery acid on it because, like I said, this figure is how old is it? It's 21 years old, I want to say. If it is 1997, yeah, it's 21 years old. So they had 21-year-old batteries in it. And there's his other arm. I think it's painted just a little bit better, though, right here where his wings are are tearing apart. I think it has just a little bit better paint apps on it. And then, looking at his feet, it's also sculpted nicely. Like I said, it just has that texturing to it. It feels like leathery skin. And it looks like it's really dry and leathery too. But when you get up to his leg, it doesn't have as heavy of the dark brown collar painted on it. I feel like they did go a little bit heavier on his feet, which doesn't really bother me because that could also be dirt too, since he is barefoot. I mean, now that I think about it, isn't he kind of naked? Actually, I don't put too much thought into that one. But yeah, it's a really nice figure, and it's really tall. So, let's go over the articulation now. He has a ball-jointed head, but like I said, due to it being fragile, it can only swivel up and down, and can't move side to side. He has a swivel jaw that can move up and down just a little bit. He has swivel shoulders that can move up and down. He has single jointed elbows that can move that far in. And he has swivel at the wrist, which really doesn't work. It only works on his left wrist. He has swivel hips that really can't kick back or forward at all. He has single jointed knees that really can't bend too far either. And he has swivel at the ankle that can move up all the way and down just a little bit. So the articulation isn't too bad. I mean, he is a really big figure, so, you know, I didn't really expect him to have too much articulation. So now let's do some size comparisons. So, let me scoop my review station back here just a little bit. So here he is next to the Spawn Series 1 Unmasked Spawn figure. And as you can see, it kind of scales, not perfectly though. But what it really scales with is the Spawn playset figures. Like here is Violator. And Violator's a big character, so that kind of just shows you how tall Malebolgia really is. So there he is next to Malebolgia. And then finally, here he is next to Spawn. Just to show how big he really is. Hold on here, I dropped Spawn. So there he is next to Spawn. And the Spawn playset figures they're kind of 3-inch scale. They're kind of 3-inch scale figures. But I definitely think those fit in scale with Malebolgia more than the 6-inch figures or 5-inch figures. It's kind of one of those things with Spawn figures. The size is all over the place. Like now they're making them in 7-inch scale. They made them in 8-inch, 12-inch, 6-inch, 5-inch, 4-inch, and even 3-inch. So these are somewhere between 3 and 4 inches tall. And it definitely fits in scale better, as you can see there. So overall, I would highly recommend this figure if you can get it. I've been searching for this figure for quite a few years, and I'm glad that I finally found him because he does not disappoint. He's a huge figure. He has lots of great sculpting detail and paint detail. That's something McFarlane Toys has always been known for. Plus, let me move Spawn and Violator out of the way. You get this really cool Voice of Evil feature. So I would highly recommend it. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.